Hello everybody, I'm Miss Jessica from EVPL 𝐭𝐴, and today we're going to be continuing our Chapter Book Storytime Variety Pack. And last time when we did our Plinko board, we got the genre of mystery. So, and Harper's going to join us. So we're going to be reading a mystery today, and we are going to be reading Greystone Secrets, The Strangers by Margaret Peterson Haddix. And she is actually one of my all-time favorite authors. She has written the Among the Hidden series, the Found series. She has some amazing books. So if you haven't checked her out as an author before, she is very good. And so let's see what this one is about. What makes you, you? The Greystone kids thought they were, and unfortunately the way that this book is, that word is covered up. Chess has always been the protector of his younger siblings. Emma loves math, and Finn does what Finn does best, acting silly and being adored. They've been a happy family, just the three of them and their mom. That changes when reports of 3 kidnapped children reach the Greystone kids, and they're shocked by the startling similarities between themselves and these complete strangers. The other kids share their same first and middle names. They're the same ages. They even have identical birthdays. Before Chess, Emma, and Finn can question their mom about it, she takes off on a sudden work trip and leaves them in the care of Miss Morales and her daughter Natalie. But puzzling clues left behind lead to complex codes, hidden rooms, and a dangerous secret that will turn their world upside down. All right, so just right there, I'm already wondering, like, how do they connect to these mysterious children that seem to have all their same information? All right, so we're going to be reading The Strangers, and already I really like these kind of different images that go with the title and with the book. Okay, we have Chapter 1, Finn, and there is a picture to go with it. The 3 Greystone kids always raced each other home when they got off the school bus, and Finn always won. It wasn't because he was the fastest. Even he knew that his older brother and sister, Chess and Emma, let him win, so he could make a grand entrance. Today he burst into the house calling out, "Mom, we're home! It's time to come and adore us!" Adore had been on his 2nd grade spelling list 2 weeks ago, and it had been a great discovery for him. So that was what it was called, the way he had felt his entire life. Emma, who was in 4th grade, dropped her backpack on the rug beside him and kicked off her red sneakers. They flipped up and landed on top of the backpack. Someday, Finn vowed he would get Emma to teach him that trick. 23, Emma said. There was no telling what she might have been counting. Finn hoped it was a prediction of how many chocolate chips would be in every cookie Mom was probably baking for them right now for their after-school snack. Finn sniffed. The house did not smell like cookies. Oh well, Mom worked from home, designing websites, and sometimes she lost track of time. If today was more of a goldfish cracker and apple slices kind of day, that was okay with Finn. He liked those too. "Mom," he called again, "your afternoon break entertainment has arrived." "She's in the kitchen," Chess said, hanging his own backpack on the hook where it belonged. "Can't you hear?" That would mean Finn had to listen for once instead of talking, Emma said, rubbing Finn's head fondly and making his messy brown hair even messier. Finn knew she didn't mean it as an insult. He was pretty sure Emma liked talking as much as he did. Chess was what everyone called the quiet Greystone. He was in 6th grade and had grown 4 inches in the past year. Now Finn had to tilt his head way back just to see his brother's face. He also cupped his hands over his ears and pretended to be listening really hard. There was a low mumble coming from the kitchen. Maybe a man's voice? "Is Mom watching TV?" Chess asked. "She never does that during the day." The kids all knew their mother's routine. She never listened to anything but classical music while she worked because she said songs with words were too distracting. And when she really didn't want to be disturbed, she worked in a windowless room in the basement. The computer down there didn't even connect to the internet. The three Greystone kids called that the boring room. Now Finn laughed at his older brother. Are you going to stand around asking stupid questions when you could just get an answer by walking into the kitchen? Finn asked. Let's go eat. He dashed toward the kitchen, dodged both Emma's backpack and the family's cat Rocket lying in the middle of the floor. He yelled, Mom, can I cut up an apple? It's my turn, isn't it? Mom was standing at the kitchen counter with her back to Finn, but she didn't turn around. She had both hands clenched onto the edge of the counter, as if she needed to hold on. Her cell phone lay face down on the floor by her feet. Her laptop sat on the counter in front of her, but it was tilted up so Finn couldn't see what was on the screen. Mom, Finn tried again. She still didn't turn around. It was like she didn't even hear him, like she was in a soundproof bubble. This was not like Mom. She had never acted like this before. Then she began to moan. No, no, no. Chapter 2, Emma. And we do have an illustration of Emma. Emma had a substitute teacher that day. The sub had dressed all in gray and had gray hair and a gray face and even a gray voice somehow. Emma decided that was possible. And the sub made the entire day so dreary and dull that Emma had started looking for and counting weird things about the day just to keep herself awake. The thing was, if you started looking for weirdness, suddenly everything seemed that way. Wasn't it weird that the pattern of coats hanging up in the classroom hooks went blue, green, red, twice in a row? Wasn't it weird that the sub could have a gray voice? Or was that just normal for her? By the time Emma got off the school bus and began racing toward the house, she'd counted 21 things that she considered indisputably weird. To her way of thinking, that actually made the day pretty interesting, and she was excited to tell Mom about the new trick she had discovered for surviving school. Then she noticed that the porch light was still on, even though Mom usually turned it off when Emma and her brothers left for school. And then, stepping into the house, Emma noticed that the living room curtains were still drawn tight across the windows, and so were the blinds on the bay window at the back of the house. This turned the living room's cheery yellow walls dim and shadowy and made the whole house feel like a cave or a hideout. 23 weird things in one day. What if that was a normal amount and Emma had just never noticed before? She'd have to count again some other day, or really lots of other days, to know for sure. Finn and Chess started yammering on about Mom in the kitchen and TV. Emma joined in and then rubbed Finn's head because it felt good to do something normal again. Mussing Finn's hair was like petting a dog. You had to do it. Finn had thick, unruly hair with odd cowlicks that sprang up no matter how much Mom smoothed them down. Finn being Finn, he claimed that meant his hair had superpowers. And now Finn was racing off to the kitchen shouting about apples. Emma looked up at Chess and they both shrugged and grinned and followed Finn. But when they got to the kitchen, Mom wasn't hugging Finn and reaching out to hug Emma and Chess too. Finn stood in the middle of the kitchen staring at Mom. Mom stood at the counter with her back to the kids, all her attention focused on her laptop. And the voice coming out of the laptop was saying, "The kidnapped children are in 2nd and 4th and 6th grade." Chapter 3, Chess. And we have an illustration of Chess. "Mom," Chess said quietly. His mother's shoulders shook, and then as if she was fighting for control, her whole body went still. Just like before, Chess thought. Of the 3 Greystone kids, only Chess remembered that awful day their father died. Chess had been 4, Emma 2, and Finn only a baby. But even Chess's memories of the day were more like a puzzle pieces he kept in a box in his mind rather than one continuous video. Chess remembered the 2 sad-faced police officers at the door. He remembered the red Matchbox car he'd been holding in his hand when the door opened. He remembered the ways Mom's shoulders shook before her back went ramrod straight and she turned around to face Chess and Emma and Finn. Now Mom was reaching for the top part of her laptop as if she planned to shut it and hide whatever it said. Something made Chess stride quickly across the kitchen and grab her hand to stop her. "Someone was kidnapped," he said. He caught a glimpse of a few words at the bottom of the computer screen. 3 kids in Arizona. Was it anyone you know? No. Mom whispered. Her dark eyes were wide and dazed. The color had drained from her face. Shock, Chess thought. The school nurse had come in and taught a first aid unit to the 6th grade earlier that year, and Chess was proud of himself for remembering the symptoms. It was just a shame he couldn't remember any treatment. Maybe if he was feeling a little shocked himself, it was scary that someone could kidnap anyone. But Arizona was 1,000 miles away, and it wasn't like there would be some crime ring going around kidnapping kids from any family who had a 2nd grader, a 4th grader, and a 6th grader. Mom, maybe you should sit down, Emma said. Maybe that was one of the treatments for shock. Chess shot his sister a grateful look and took his mother's arm, ready to help ease her toward the kitchen table. Rocky, Emma, Finn, Castano were last seen leaving their school, Los Perales Elementary, and Mesa, the voice coming out of the laptop speaker said. Finn started cracking up. Isn't that funny? He cried. 2 of those kids have the same first names as me and Emma. That's the 3rd Finn I've ever known. Well, not that I actually know this one, but he slugged Chess in the arm. Don't you feel bad that you don't have the same name as some kid who's famous now? And I bet when they find these kids, they'll get all the ice cream they want and all the toys they want, and their parents probably won't make them do homework ever again. But what if nobody ever finds these kids, Chess thought. He wasn't about to say that to Finn. Yeah, I've never met another kid named Rochester. Chess forced himself to fake a smile at Finn, or with the nickname Chess. Oh well. Maybe you should sue Mom for giving you such a different name, Finn suggested. Or maybe I should sue for getting such a boring, ordinary name, Emma countered. Did you know there are 3 other Emmas in 4th grade and 8 others in the rest of the school? But Chess tuned out his brother and sister because Mom lifted one hand and pointed toward the laptop screen. The way she had held her hand was like a nightmare, like a Halloween ghost, like someone under a witch's spell in a fairy tale. It was like she could only point, not speak. We're repeating the information we have about the Castano children, the voice coming from the laptop said. A photo of a friendly-looking, dark-haired boy appeared on the screen. The oldest of the 3 kidnapped siblings, Rochester Charles Castano, who goes by Rocky, just turned 12 last Tuesday. Chess's hearing blanked out temporarily. His middle name was Charles, too, and his 12th birthday had been last Tuesday. How could there be another Rochester Charles born the exact same day as him? And how could the other kid have been kidnapped? Chapter 4, Finn. And again, we have Finn. Everybody was acting too serious. They all stopped talking, even Emma. She'd taken the last 2 steps to join Mom and Chess at the counter to stare silently at the laptop screen. Hello, Finn said. It's snack time, remember? Nobody answered. Remember how you're always telling me I have to quit right away when I'm playing computer games and you think it's time for me to do something else? Finn tried again. He walked over and reached his hand for the power button on the laptop. He wasn't really planning to switch it off. He'd heard too many lectures from Mom about not messing with her work. He just wanted to tease Mom a little until she acted normal again. Emma surprised him by grabbing his hand. At first, it seemed like she was trying to stop him from doing something dumb. Then it started to feel like she needed to hold his hand. Finn stood on tiptoes and peered at the screen. He saw 3 pictures in a row, each with names and ages beneath. The kids in the pictures all had brown hair, just like Finn and Chess and Emma did. They all stared out at Finn with stiff school picture day smiles on their faces, as if they'd just gotten the same warning Finn always got. Remember, this is your official photo for the entire year, so no goofing off. The youngest boy, the one Finn was already thinking of as other Finn, was perfectly snaggle-toothed with one adult front tooth partly grown in and one front tooth missing entirely. Finn felt a little jealous. He'd lost his front teeth 2 weeks after picture day last fall, and for some reason Mom wouldn't agree to let him have his picture retaken just because of that. But Mom, this is what I look like in 2nd grade, he'd argued, sticking his tongue into the hole where his teeth used to be, just for the sheer joy of it. Don't you want to remember me this way forever? Don't worry, Mom had said, laughing and pretending to try to catch his tongue before he yanked it back. I'm not going to forget, regardless. Then dropped his gaze off, to see if other Finn was just a smidge older, and if that was the reason he'd been lucky enough to lose both his front teeth right before school picture day. Finn Michael Gastano, it said below the picture, born March 4th, 2011. He has the same middle name as me, Finn said, stunned. And wait, does 3-4 mean March 4th? He has the same name as you, Chess said, sounding dazed. And the same birthday. And that Emma is Emma Grace, just like me, Emma added. She kept her gaze aimed at the screen, as if she was too surprised to look away. And her birthday is April 14th, too. That's crazy, Finn said. Weird, weird, weird. Did they just steal our names and birthdays? Or, I know. He yanked his hand away from Emma, put his fists on his hips, and tried to look stern. Mom, did you let that other family clone us? He wanted everybody to laugh. He needed everybody to laugh. And then Mom would shut the laptop and forget those other kids. She would bring out snacks and ask Finn and Emma and Chess about school, just like usual. But Mom did none of those things. Even when Finn went over and snuggled against her, she didn't move. She just kept staring at the kids who'd been kidnapped. Okay, Chapter 5, Emma. Again, we have Emma. Finn, you're being silly, Emma said. Clones would look like us, not have the same names and birthdays. The girl on the computer screen had straight, light brown hair, while Emma's was darker and wavy. It was hard to tell from a tiny picture, but the other girl may have even had bluish purple eyes, where Emma's were dark brown, almost black. Also, the other girl's chin was rounder, her cheeks were fuller, her gaze was a little too peaceful. In every picture anyone had ever taken of Emma, she looked like she was trying to solve complicated math problems in her head. Sometimes she was. Having her picture taken was boring. Seeing the picture of someone with your exact birthday and almost your exact same name who'd been kidnapped wasn't boring. It was the weirdest thing that had happened all day. But like all the other weirdness she'd cataloged that day, was it really all that stunning? Emma was glad Finn's question had awakened her brain again. Statistics, Emma said. Probability. There are billions of kids in the world. Probably millions of girls named Emma who have 2 brothers. Maybe thousands who have 1 brother named Finn. Hundreds, or well, at least dozens, who have a brother named Rochester. There's probably some formula you could do to figure out the chances that parents who like the name Emma would also like the other 2 names too. And for birthdays, there are only 365 possible birthdays anybody could have. 366 if you count leap day. So you just need 367 people in a room together to be sure that at least one pair has the same birthday. How many do you need to have 3 pairs of birthdays all the same? Chess asked. Emma was pretty sure there was a way to figure that out, but her mind was attacking the harder problem. How could you calculate your chances that 2 sets of siblings would have the same names in the same order? You'd have to know the number of all possible names, wouldn't you? Since people could just make up names they wanted for their kids. Was that even possible to put a number on? Emma didn't like it when math failed her. The kidnapping, Mom whispered. The odds that anyone's children would be kidnapped are tiny, Emma finished for her. But this is like the chances of winning the lottery. There are overwhelming odds against anyone winning the lottery, so it's stupid to buy a ticket. But somebody is going to win. Somebody gets to be the 1 in a million, or else it'd be 0 in a million chances, but it's only one person that has that good luck. Being kidnapped sounds like bad luck to me, Finn said, giggling. Then he furrowed his brow and pointed at the laptop screen. Or are you saying those kids used up all their bad luck so we never have to worry about being kidnapped? Thank you, other Finn and other Emma and other Rochester. Hope you get found soon. Mom seemed to shake herself and look down at Finn, as if she was really seeing him for the first time since we'd walked into the kitchen. Then she lifted her head. Her gaze drifted first to Emma, then to Chess. She reached out and hugged all 3 kids, pulling them together so tightly that Emma could barely breathe. You don't have to worry about being kidnapped, she said in her usual firm voice. I promise I'll do everything I can to prevent that. It would have been really reassuring, except that Mom's voice quivered at the very end. And why would Mom think she'd need to prevent anything? Okay, Okay, we're going to stop there. So, what would you do if you were watching the news and all of a sudden there was somebody that didn't look quite like you that had your same name and birth date and something extraordinary was happening to them? That would be pretty shocking. So I'm really interested to know who these kids are, how they're connected. The chances that there are 3 siblings with the same names and same birthdays, that's really, really small. So what is happening, especially when they're interesting names like Rochester and Finn, and Emma's a pretty common name, but this is really interesting. Okay, so if you would like to continue reading this story, you can get a copy of this. We have print copies available. There is also actually an audiobook available, so CDs that you can listen to. We have e-audiobooks, so you can listen to it digitally. And we also have ebook copies so that you can read it on a tablet or a device or a computer. And it might be a little more portable than a book because this one is pretty thick. All right, so let's find out what we're going to be reading next time. Thank you so much for joining us today. So now it is time to find out what we're going to be reading next time. And I'm going to do something I haven't had to do yet, and I'm so sorry, but I'm going to cheat, and we are going to be reading fantasy. We have read over 10 books together, and we have yet to have that as a genre. We've actually had a couple of these more than once, and that one we still haven't had. So next time we are going to be reading a fantasy book, and I'm so sorry to cheat, but that's the whole purpose of this, is to get a little bit of a variety so that you can try out different books, different genres. So thank you again for joining us. Don't forget, you can always go to evpl.org to put books on hold, to request things, to find out what events are coming up, what really fun things we're offering, whether it is Chapter Book Storytime or do-it-yourself crafts or demonstrations, blogs. There's so much there. And don't forget to go to our YouTube page and our Facebook page to like, subscribe, and so then you'll always be notified of new things that we're doing. And don't forget, you can also come into the library and visit us and pick up materials. Ask us for suggestions. We'll be happy to help you find something that you would really enjoy reading. So thank you again for joining me for Chapter Book Storytime. I will see you next Friday. Bye.